Apparently I did that to the cloud server today.
Oh.
I can still get the audio down.
Cool.
Hey, welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's been a interesting couple of days.
Yeah.
And for what was going to be a hard out productive weekend and everything, it really reversed on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I've probably seen as many people as I was ever going to see.
Yeah. So you kept up the people contact?
Yeah, kept up getting around. But yeah, just the ability to do stuff.
Yeah.
Didn't happen. But yeah, no, my cat was pretty cool. So you deal with it how you deal with it, eh?
Yeah.
You just deal with it the best at the time, and I just know that as long as I take it easy now, there's less complications later.
Yeah.
And so giving myself the time now, it's not hard to, because there's still a reminder that actually you're not fully all right, and so I'm making the best out of the situation, which is cool.
Yeah.
And which I appreciate. So
does that jiggle, do you have a thought to do something and then have to change it up? How does your mind process the inclusion of your leg? Genuinely, how you, yeah.
Well, because you sort of pre-plan or pre-code a thought and a process of how you're going to do, how I was going to do the weekend. I had a pre-process, and then I had to just wipe that pre-process because I was like, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And then everything, I go to do everything and it's still the sameness, but you go get to it differently. It just takes a bit slow. Last night I went to the supermarket and yeah, just one crutch and a hand on the trolley and pretty much walking between that to get through, and you just deal with it. It's not this is too hard, I can't do this. It's well, I need to do this, so let's go and do it and share the moment and enjoy the time. And just really appreciating that time as well, because it does get better. It only gets better from here. So it's cool. I love it.
So, I'm always interested in, I'm always interested in how people decide. Do you decide every day, or where was your decision about making the most of everything? How did you come to that decision? Do you remember?
I know it wasn't the one, but I guess a real conscious, I probably fed it a lot, but a real consciousness when I had my diabetes and the few months after it. And that affected a big life plan I had, to go and delve into the forces and get good qualifications through that and whatever that would be. And then being diagnosed with diabetes, it just changed that whole life plan. And always being shown, I guess, that there's always the good side. And now, pretty much 18 onwards, 17, 18 onwards, just always picking the good side, and always, especially now that since I've been qualified from being a mechanic, it's just even more so of picking the good things, like sifting through, seeing the good things in other people's lives. And it's just that constant decision that there's the good things, an acknowledgement in mind of what could or what isn't so good.
Yeah.
And then, if it's my life or someone else's life, respecting that, and then carrying on with all the good things that we have. So that conscious decision, that it wasn't that so much back then when I got diagnosed, but that the now, if I don't live my life, if I don't go out and do all the things that I want to do, no one else is going to.
Yeah.
So for me, no one else is, or someone else is gonna. If I don't feel like use my time wisely and fill up my time, someone else is gonna go and say, "Oh, hey, I need you for this."
Yeah.
Do something for them. So
That's a thing, eh? Oh my God, that's such a thing. If it's kind of like, just like the concept of a space. If there's a clear space, people will unconsciously fill it. If there's something on a chair, you unconsciously won't sit down. Does that mean, unless you actually go, I'll lift this off and I will sit there. Yeah. So it's the same with time and how it gets filled. If I know what I want to achieve, and I still have people come into my field or into me or into my space, and I still know what I'm going to do, I have to make that decision in that moment to either carry on doing it while we're talking, engage them, that's what, get them on board to do it with me, or multiples of sit and talk and know that now I have littler time to achieve what I wanted to do. And then there's those moments sometimes where I might get a little edgy in the meantime of, oh God, I'm seeing my time frame squish and I'm filling it with something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just an example of, I guess, priorities shifting and changing in the moment. But if I don't know what I'm doing in a day, I end up just doing what anyone else is doing around me.
Yeah.
So it is fascinating. It's the same thing as leadership. If someone knows what they're doing and where they're going, they'll engage people along the journey, but only the people who want to be involved will go.
Yeah, that want to share that life to outside. Like on another side of that, so I really want a dog, and every time I go to Shawnee's and I talk about like wanting a dog, she goes, "No, you don't want a bloody dog." And I'm like, "But I do. I want a companion. I don't even want a puppy. I want a dog." And I was having a chat with her and her mum yesterday, and they were telling me all the reasons I can't have one. And they're telling me about all the time I don't have. And I'm thinking about it and I'm like, it's just really interesting seeing the impact that, of their perception on what my life is, and like close friends and all, and then just to be like, wow, like,
but I still do want a dog.
Yeah. It doesn't change my thought pattern. Same thing between Boxer and Dad. Boxer has ideas and they're good, they work out, and it'll make it work, and then Dad sort of goes, "Oh, I don't know, mate. Have you thought about this? Have you looked at this?" Kind of a jagged cut to a straight cut ideas, and just dealing with the what am I going to pick and what am I going to work through, and all that stuff is because if I like with the opportunity in that, because I feel I put myself out a lot, you know, you get to choose things that you like to do, like um, between all the things that the opportunities that I've had come up in my life, like for the motorbike riding, um, for the spiritual way of being, for learning the mechanical, for understanding people, and then my close group of friends, of mates, like I had a bike, so they brought bikes. We all brought push bikes. They did spearfishing, so I brought spearfishing gear so I could go and experience too. You know, and I'm looking at all this stuff on the other side of this camera, and these are just all the times I didn't say no.
Right.
I can grab each and every one of these and go and experience just multitudes of different opportunities, um, all because I said yes over a beer. You know, and share these experiences into my life, and live and understand and not understand and still live, and you know, succeed and learn, um, and learn how things work, and see more. You know, the more you see, the more you can understand. And I tell you what, when I went like proper spearfishing out at an island called Kuvia, to be diving on a rock and see all these fish and see a line go down, and there'll be so many fish around it checking this bit of meat on a hook out, and like one snapper that was around would come in, look at it, eat it, and get caught.
Right.
Out of the hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of fish, you know, just blue maumau everywhere, and this one snapper looks so different, comes in and eats it. It was just like that understanding that there is so much more there than you know when you're just sitting on top of a rock, like creating the opportunity to be outside of my comfort zone, deep in the unknowing,
Yeah.
um, and just floating above water in some realistic terms, to get enough air to then dive down deep into the unknown again, for the opportunities that are down there. It was crazy cool to realize, you know, you shoot a nice big, there were kingies all around us, like not all around us, they haven't been the big swirling schools, and you know, I took my opportunity and I shot a big kahawai, and then just as I did that, a huge kingfish came up, and like the kahawai was big, but the kingfish was just, you know, easily 4 times that, and I was like, holy, what a monster, you know. And it's fully, and it's just coming to check me out. It's just coming around, and it's in its environment. It knows, you know, and it understands. And I'm out of my environment, but I'm doing the best I can. And then I'm wishing I had a second spear gun because this kingy's huge and it looks good. But yeah, just the ability. Like I remember, I actually said no to the boys first of all to go spearfishing. I said no. I'll just like watch. You guys can do that. I don't need to invest that money. And then I went and experienced on like some low budget gear, just all borrowed stuff. And then I decided, nah, I'm going to spend good money, get a good wetsuit, good gear, and now it's only grown from there. That's just one thing that I've just appreciated so much that I didn't say no to.
Yeah.
Like I effectively broke and I said yes. But just that where the time and the value of time and energy went, so the money followed it in there.
Yeah. I was just going to say, when you first said no, it would have been a money thing, but it would also have been that you hadn't have had that experience.
Yeah.
And when you had that experience, you're like, okay,
Yeah.
now I have some level of, it's like having more information, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah. It really is. It is. You make the biggest life decisions with not too much information, eh?
Oh my God, lack of information completely with the big ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I guess that's where self-awareness comes in. It's like trusting yourself in a decision, or trusting myself in anything, is how we're making decisions, how we're deciding. And it's that trust. It's that, I mean, ultimately, I've looked at trust. I really, really looked at trust, and it is absolutely freaking everywhere. We are trusting chairs, stairs, buildings, people, other drivers. Just, we're trusting all the time. And yet then there'll be this phase of, oh, I just don't trust myself. Let's say someone says to me. And it's like, it's a big paradox, because we actually do. We just so ultimately do trust. Yeah. And yet, when we feel we don't, it'll be about something that hasn't gone well for us in the past or something. It's that level of, I made a decision, and then it didn't work out the way I'd like it to, at that time. But sometimes that was the best outcome that could have happened anyway, because it steered a different direction.
Yeah.
So maybe that was a level of supposed my mind meaning making, mistrust in deciding, but it was a great decision.
Yeah.
Time's fascinating like that.
Because it's a great decision, because you made the most out of the situation. Like,
Yeah.
Once you've, in a version, committed to a choice, let's pick something simple, like going to Ben and Lizzie's for Christmas.
Yeah.
That commitment to do that meant so much stuff had to happen to get you guys down there, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Like you had to clean the caravan out, get all the inside done, get the outside painted,
yeah. Outside, get it warranted.
Yeah. Warrant, rego.
Yeah. Clean. Oh my God, clean. Oh my God, clean. I must have cleaned it 5 times.
Yep.
And every time it was still a dirty cloth. It's amazing.
Yeah.
The process itself, it was a big couple of weeks doing it. But the investment of it in time, let alone the money, the investment of it means I love that caravan.
Yeah. And then, even now, you need another caravan.
Yeah, well, just because I would like to be able to pull one, right?
Right. So for the one time that you might actually drive the vehicle towing a caravan, you would feel safe doing that. And so now, like, that investment, like, is still a good investment, but there also you can look at it as in the money and time could have gone elsewhere. And because you've made best of the situation at the time, like, you can appreciate all like your commitment to it.
Yeah.
And
yes, and it still goes towards our larger goals, though, and that is to have rooms available here. for not just family, for movement forward, like just having that capacity. So it was a big tick that was a long-term plan that came forward.
Yeah. And that, like, that's a show of, like, you trusted yourself to get all that done in such a short time period.
Yeah.
You know, a big job that was just crammed, even when Boxer was busy.
Yeah.
You know, busy.
Yeah. That's true. That's very
and you get the reward from it now.
Oh, very cool experience. So I learned how to lay carpet, lay lino.
Yep.
Measure it, cut it. I didn't do all of it, but I learned all that process.
Yeah.
The whole measuring thing's big in our household. So I walk around with the measuring tape if I want to shift something. You should see the lounge now. It looks freaking fabulous.
Does it?
Yeah, real clean, real light, real more space. It's just, even that I think it's this internal, external stuff. For me, I start making shifts in my mind. So last week I started just going, I love the feeling of clean and clear. I love the feeling of clean and clear. And I ran that through my system. Just love that feeling. I love the feeling. And it wasn't about what was external to me. It was totally about my insides. I love that feeling of clean and clear, clarity. I love that feeling. Love that feeling. And the more I went into it, I love that. Yeah, actually, I do like that feeling. I do like that feeling. And I sat with it probably 3 days, just any time that my mind went somewhere that wasn't useful, or it was just meandering, or it wasn't productive or something, I just go into, where's that feeling? Yeah, I love that feeling of clear and clean and clear. Love that feeling of clean and clear. And the more I felt the feeling, the more it just became it is. And I sat with that, it just is. And then I saw it was about my body. And okay, there's some changes I want to make there. And okay, it's about my mind. There's some changes I want to make there. But I didn't try to make the changes, literally just really get the feeling. And as I develop the feeling, I've noticed things are starting to show up where I can make a decision. So I've been playing with that whole feeling thing. Rather than thinking a thought and rather than having a feeling and making meaning of the feeling, I'm turning it back inside out.
Okay.
Really turning it inside out. So what is the feeling I'd like to feel? What is the goal that I have? Okay, what would be the feeling? What's the feeling I'm after inside of that goal or that outcome? Because it's never about the actual achievement of something. Because even when I've done some massive achievements, at the end it's like, oh yeah, cool, move on.
Yeah.
So I'm really, really delving into that creational aspect of creating the closeness of the alignment of vibration in my feelings, and getting those, not emotions, those feelings, those sensations, teaching the sensates and the feeling groups to actually to fully be within me, knowing that then actions and behaviors will follow.
Oh, yep. My actions and behaviors are following.
And one of the ones I was thinking of, and you're in this situation right now, one of the ones I was thinking of is the reach when I wasn't feeling well last year and I ended up in hospital. The reach to remember what it felt like to feel healthy.
Yeah.
That makes sense. At the time when I wasn't feeling abundantly healthy, I'd have to go to little parts of me, like my finger, and feel that as a good feeling. And I'd work through my body, often work through my body and just remind it, we know what feeling healthy feels like. Just go to the little parts of it. I know what feeling healthy feels like. I know what that feels like. I remember. Oh yeah, I do remember what that feels like. And then of course I had to go through the whole operation. But now when I look at it, it's like, yeah, that's exactly the feelings I was creating at that time.
Yeah. I love that because when I was just, I don't know, had a man flu, but it just changes with my diabetes and stuff, and I had like half a KDA. Anyway, and just the raw feeling of every day I felt 200% better. And it went on for 2 weeks.
Wow.
Every single day I felt 200% better. Just twice as good as I was the day before. The day before I was like bouncing. I was just like, yes, yes, yes. Because I was just so sick. So dealing with like a sickness and my diabetes, and that inner feeling is just horrid. From a man flu and and having and dealing with that. So yeah, just to feel the raw overall feeling of being better, and then being able to do something and not feel like rubbish, not
having to go lay down afterwards.
Yeah, not feel sore. Yeah, that's right. I was sleeping heaps. That's right.
Yeah.
And what was the other one? It just left me. But when you're enabled to do, like, I feel that other people, namely, general society, have something, they hold on to it. It's a lot. I see it a lot now, more with my diabetes, and it doesn't prevent me. I just work with it.
Right.
But so many people make up that excuse that because they've felt like at one point in one time they're disabled.
Yeah. It's a good reason.
Like,
I feel like in life, when I look at myself, without, obviously I haven't had a disease like that, a disease, discomfort like that, but certainly even emotional distortions in my mind, I'd find any reason to not do something. Yeah. And the psyche around it's really weird. It's almost like using children as a reason to not, or using money as a reason to not, or using anything. And so when I explore the to not, what is that? Sometimes I think it's like very much, if on my own examples, let alone the people I've talked to and worked with since, they were very much about just not having a vision to move forward. Like the gap was too big, having an idea of what you wanted, but it was just too big a gap. And so then feeling deflated or disappointed, I can't do that. And so then having to actually just step by step, day by day, reteach myself, literally educate myself. I found a book that I wrote in 2007, and the entire freaking book, the whole journal, the entire journal is just a gratitude journal. Every single line is filled out, every single scrap of the page is filled out. And I went through it, and I just flipped through it the other day and just went, wow, that's right, I remember that. And then I remembered I had another 8 different journals, all the same. And that was a huge decision by me to attempt to look at the good things again in life, to actually learn how to be in now. And when I look at the way I give gratitude now, I mean, I literally just allow it to feel, and I'm right there, it's just there.
Yeah.
I didn't have that at the time. And it was through, I would write and write and write and write until I felt it inside of me, and I'd have some level of tear welling up because I wanted that real appreciation. And now, honestly, I can flick through those journals. I've got some by my desk at work, and I'll just do it now for the kick because it's kind of like its own little drug. I'll just flick through it. This one's particularly full of color.
Yeah.
And I'll just flick through it and my eyes will just notice it, and just somehow energetically I instantly feel that divine feeling again. But some of the older ones, I used to look outside of myself for the things to be grateful for. It's very different.
I find this path interesting for myself, and I'll see if I can explain it clearly. And it's my version of, I haven't been through hell. Like, I haven't experienced the worst. Like, I haven't been homeless, so I can't refer to that. And yes, like, I have emotions. Okay, no, I haven't been in poverty, according to me, and so I don't truly know what that's like, and I can understand it all. And then so you speak about, like, I really appreciate, like, having to relearn gratitude and it encompassing your life. 8 books, that's crazy, amazing. And then I try to think about that, and I'm like, do I need to do that? Is it something that you do as a person for your thing? And I'm like, no, because I have a wealth of holding my gratitude in everything I do.
Yes.
And it's funny, some things that you share, because always in life you have a version of compare and contrast.
Yeah.
And I think, oh, do I need that in my life? And then I go through and I'm like, well, here's the fast version for me. And it takes half a second to do that in your head. Here's the fast version for me. And okay, got that. And there'll be something that, you'll say something and I've jumped in deeper, or you say something deep and I'm just like, oh, but there's a real simple way.
This is it. This is it. Like Granddad was really quite a pioneer in this faith concepting, in this creational aspect, and I took many of his learnings and developed from me, because I had something to go from. And you will always find, I want to know your quicker versions. Does that make sense? Now that, because I can now, boom, do that instantaneously. And any feeling, actually. And maybe I like the tarrying in the observation of the little changes that fizz through my body when I do it slowly.
Yeah.
I personally get quite a kick out of observing the transformation. Whether that's useful or not, I don't know. For me, I know why I do it. Otherwise, I can't facilitate someone else through what to look for. They'll have a change, and then it's just too. That can't be right. That was too easy.
Yeah.
And there's no conscious convinces in play. So when we can facilitate conscious convinces for someone else, it's because we intrinsically know what we're seeking. And that all comes from the framework that people need even to change from where they're at. Maybe they don't. They just be exactly where we all are. I'm keen. This is broaching new territory for me, because I'm trying to work out, where do I apply the gifts that I have developed now? I don't actually know. It's almost, my heart's like, what do I do now?
Yeah, true. Wow. Wow. So I listened to Adam. My mate Adam told me, bro, listen to this podcast. It is amazing. 100 minutes of a podcast. And if I can say it quickly, it's about this guy, Mike Malek, and he's a YouTuber. Now he's written a book. His life's pretty fucked, pretty crazy. It's called From Heroin to Hollywood, was called the podcast. And just a quick piece of it. So I'll grab the first piece and the last piece. And the middle is just everywhere. So 18 years old, he was a full-blown drug addict. And he got clean, and he started helping and being an influencer in his places with his story, which is just awesome. And he started writing his book, and he had a couple of people help him put the pieces together. He wrote it all, but he had a couple of people help him put it together. And the first guy that helped him, he read the first 2 pages, and he said to him, Mike, you can't put this, you can't write this. Someone might think it's real. And he said, get the fuck out. Go, leave, out of my life. Because he wanted to share his life, and it was that twisted. This guy was like, someone might think this is real. And I just thought, wow, that's astronomical. Like, he shares some stories, and you're just listening to this, and you're just like, how? And then I have this mirror experience, and I'm like, oh, that's how. Like, that's all
Right.
good.
Yeah, careful of the questions you ask the universe, eh?
Yeah. I'm good. Actually, I knew that was created, and I just laughed, so I'm good. And so the last thing he shares, so that's just about his book. The last thing he shares on this podcast is he gets asked the question, so what's next, Mike? You've got everything you could ever want. What do you want next? And he said he wanted exactly the things that the drugs gave him, was to be out of his mind, to not have to sit in and what he called endure the voices that never stopped, the thoughts that never stopped, the beings that were just so busy. And it's not like not being able to make use of just that, which is like everyone, I had 1,000 different ways I could help this one guy, and like he was very good with his words, and how you could hear him him using communication so well, and some people would just sit there and agree because they just want to get out of their heads, and it's that part of society, I feel, that I can generalize that. I just wonder, what are they doing? That unconnectivity that is forced down in. And I watched you guys go through it with staying at your house and just watching your journey of how twisted you get twisted the thoughts go with the information that you choose to make or not make meaning of. And it's the how do you, and this is for people in their own lives, how do you one, make meaning of anything, and two, make use of the busyness that comes and goes
Mm.
in the mind. And then like I can really see why people turn to faiths, really see why people turn to um, like even gangs, you know, groups, organizations, to feel like they're connected, to not feel alone with that continuity. And then, you know, someone wants something explained and it's got to be scientific now. And even that is, I feel, is like social media or the media networks. Is it doesn't have to be the right information. It just has to be information, and it has to be first. And that's how I feel that you turn information, knowledge, and wisdom to make it wise in your life. Now, if it isn't actually directly impacting you where you sit in your four walls or where you drive in your car, then why does it matter? You know, like, oh, someone said that you only need to drink 1.5 litres of water a day. And then the next one will be, oh, you need to drink 6 litres of water a day. Does it matter? You know, it's information, and it's not right. It's not useful. It's not adding to your life. However, if you know how your body works, then you fucking choose.
Mm.
You know, if that star's actually 4.412 billion light years away,
Mm.
you know, like why make meaning of it? Or if Joe said to Bob this in America, you know, fuck's sakes, it's just, I feel it's information that wastes oxygen.
I fully agree, because it's like not having had pretty much any care for any politics or media for a very long time, and then desiring to and then literally some level of felt responsibility to at least know what's going on.
Yeah.
I was drowning inside of stuff because I hadn't been around it. And literally just coming up for air to go, what the, hang on. So you witnessed a very deep process for people, completely different generation to you, going through all of the extremes as they came into their own alignment within a space. And because there were two of us, there was that bounce, so that one would bounce out again, kind of like trying to do things. Sometimes doing something by yourself can be far quicker.
Yeah.
Doing it truly with another person, where there's the desire to work together around it, means that there can be a little bit more communication around it.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it did feel in some of those cases like a drowning, like the actual value stuff and my meaning making mind consequenting it out of what it could look like for if you guys had children on the planet, if things didn't change. Yeah, it was pretty like, oh my God. And it triggered old stuff from my childhood, where we used to walk around hills expecting the end of the world and looking where they were going to hide. So in some ways it just triggered old stories.
Yep.
And the very process wasn't enjoyable, and yet we had the best time.
Yep.
Not in that moment, but everything else that was there was actually quite beautiful.
Yep.
So yeah, absolutely. absolutely. And I came to a few new realizations of my own, but in that process, almost discounted myself of any value to add now to people. Really uncomfortable process. And I'm still sitting there. It's like, most of my teachings shouldn't tell people how things are. It points towards a processing, a way of processing, and then people can explore it and experience it. They're just navigational models and tools. And when applied, it's pretty powerful, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really interesting.
It's quite a big one. I feel a lot like this with Adam, and Adam said to me after a lot of years, what do you want to be remembered for? And I turned to him and I said, like, I'm not here to make a name. And like he just, so without explaining it, he just respected what I had to say because of like our teachings together, and how different those are with compared to societal life and the general population. And like it just really deeply respects it. And I said, like, I'm not here to change anyone's minds, but it just provides opportunities for another way of being. And yeah, I could really relate when you said that people were asking you for your opinion. And how people are like magnetized to that. Because sometimes that's not the important thing in their life. And then they enjoy getting out of their mind and having useful conversation. But then what do they go back to?
Normal.
Yeah, their standard.
That's funny. I just remembered why I used to write all those things. It was because I purposed myself to shift a vibration, and I didn't know how to shift vibration at the time. That was how I learned.
Oh, yeah.
It took that long to actually just remember why. And so I didn't have another adult in the house to talk with. So I would sit there, and rather than go into unuseful places, just focus and learn to focus and learn to focus. Yeah. So it is all relevant. I guess it's just like when people can dance, but the level of dance that you do is very other level.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? The level that you and Robin dance at together is a completely different level to someone dancing and just feeling good.
Yeah.
The level of understanding, the emotions that you're emitting, the story that you're telling, the shift, the tiny movements, the possible toe placement, I don't know, everything orchestrates to really understanding, orchestrates to exploring the expressions of your body and working with another person. I mean, that's elite information that people just don't have. I make big judgments that other people haven't chosen to make as the thing they're going to study so deeply.
Because they haven't gone and borrowed gear to go and do it.
Right.
Borrowed gear to go and experience, because my friends were just so into this and I wanted to share what they were doing. And in my mind, I was happy to sit on the side of the water for 2 hours.
Yeah.
But then I said yes. And so I think that's it. Like I think we should create a cellar, like the um, a short clip that would get people's attention for the possibility of doing that type of movement. It would be for the school ultimately. And then how do you just communicate a bit better with people that, you know, in some way it's like the old guys that turn up after, and they're 60, 70 years old, and they turn up and do some dancing with their partner, and they go, oh, I wish I did this sooner.
Yeah.
I wish I didn't think that was gay or that was silly. I wish I actually just turned up and said, yeah, let's give it a go. And so like there's in a lot of ways a sales pitch, but in another lot of ways it's creating the opportunity for an opportunity to say yes, for a different experience, for another experience, for adding experience. And I just like it's so the way I see it is it's just deep relating and understanding when you have to work with someone and you actually grow a knowledge of what your role is and what their role is. Like often Robin and I will ask each other, hey, can you please show me your steps? Because then there is a law of physics. Really, there's mathematical equations that I love it, because I think about it like this: mathematics is 1 + 1 = 2. There's no other way about it. But to get to 9, you can go 3 + 3 + 3, 3 times 3. 8
So,
+ 1. There's so many other ways.
1 + 1 + 1 + 1 + 1.
It's still an equation. Then when you bring to science has all those equations, and there is, because like it's a study, there's a root, I've lost the word again. There is
formula.
Yeah, there's a formula, and there's an amount of error. So, to test something, you've got to only change one thing at a time. You don't change everything every time.
Yeah.
So that's what Rob and I have to do. So something won't work out, and we'll discuss like just the general stuff that we know first to work out our formulas, and then I'll have to revisit my steps and go, okay, well, it can even be a difference of degrees.
Right.
3 degrees difference, and it just creates such a wrong feeling, something's not right. And then it can be someone's not lifting the right side, or someone's not pushing, or someone's not turning on their side, they're turning opposite and their body's all funky. And it's just trying to not change everything and keep on moving towards making it, keeping your arms up more, for me at the moment. And it's just having to evaluate yourself before you ask something different of the other person, I feel is at a relating level. You've got to understand yourself first, and I just feel it's so important and I really, really love and enjoy it. And even then I still lose and I don't know everything. Like I don't know everything about it. The more I love this about learning. So the more I start to know, the less I realize that I know, you know?
I got it.
And I feel that you just get the opportunity and then you've actually got to choose to commit yourself. Like, what is it, 10,000 hours and you're a master or a professional at something?
Mm.
And I agree to disagree because it's 10,000 hours that you've dealt with most situations where you've seen most things that are going to happen in that environment. You know, as a mechanic, you see most things that happen, and even then you still get a random ass thing that happens on a vehicle. You've got to work out why, but it's all those situations have led to being able to deal with that.
And
And something
diagnose it.
something I've learned as a tradie and seeing experiencing different trades with Boxer is that you do that 10,000 hours to literally cover up mistakes or how things shouldn't be, but to know how to just make it work.
Right.
You know, you can hide 10 mil in a house, but you can't hide 2 mil in a car. It's hard to hide 2 mil in a car. That's a lot. And then I'm thinking about my mate who's a helicopter engineer. A helicopter engineer, and you know he's working with 0.02 mil, anything like that. You know, like if there's 0.02 mil, like someone could die in that helicopter.
Right.
Same in the car, and then at 2 mil, and then same in a house if it was, 20 mil. Someone, it could just be an unhealthy house, leaky home type of thing. And it's learning to cover up things that weren't quite right. That's what I really enjoy as understanding how little you may know in the dancing is because someone would be like, oh man, look at their timing of some of the top people in the world, like the world number ones, and they might have been a second, like 0.1 of a second late, and then they have to make up for it. So they just cover their mistakes.
Right.
They might have gone the wrong way, but they just can cover their mistakes and still roll with it.
There's a whole body of knowledge around this concept, right? Yeah. And it was shown. One of the studies was done in modeling, actually modeling American divers. Chinese wanted to model the American divers, and at first they were doing everything that they could see the diver doing. The whole, however that diver would prep, whatever he would do, they would be mimicking his body language. And when they actually did what's called internal modeling, so how does he make up his framework, what's going on inside, it was the actual adjustment, so they call it an adjustment, that he'd need to make when he left, if he didn't quite hit the sweet spot on the board, what did he have to do then in order to make the dive still work? Yeah. So that's exactly what you're talking about, is what adjustment needed to be made in mid-flight so that the whole process would still work. And your reference was to mistakes. So I guess, there was something that didn't happen ideally. And so what adjustments do they have to then do to get it back online again? And it must be just continuous adjusting.
And what I feel is what annoys me and what I work with is that as a diver, they can do it, they can readjust themselves. You know, there's one person to do. But just like you said about you and boxer, like your values moving and adjusting within each other.
Yeah. To come together.
Yeah, with Robin is a two-person unit, like a singular. You've got to check yourself before you ask of the other. And this is just in the practicing, and then on the flight of on the floor, man, anything comes out, and yeah, you've got to know, assess, and work with what you're given and what you're giving.
Wow.
And that's nice and fairly simple on a floor by yourself. Then you got 11 other couples on there and have fun.
That sounds like life.
Yeah. Well,
just in a picture, the worst part of humanity, as in the worst expression when people are in fear or just dulled down to their life, or in pain, or just going through the like robotic processes. If we put couples like that on the dance floor, what would it be like? Just give me an.
Oh, it's like level 1. So
Okay.
you have your people just how would you say it? So it's like dancing in a level 2 waltz quick step, and because you have your people that are dancing level 1, and they can dance up, and then you have your people that can dance level 2 and they can dance up. So usually the ones that are level 2 and can dance up have more experience, and they can deal with things better. Probably even is best at level 3, but level 2 is real clear. So everyone's just trying to get by in level 2, because you've got your beginners who haven't spent all that much time on the floor, and then you've got your people who are working through, and then you've got all your different age groups in that can just jump in. So if you've got, like, at nationals, you've got like 3 rounds, so 3 heats, semis, quarterfinals, semi-finals, then finals. And it's only until about the semi-finals where you can actually move.
Wow.
Where you can actually, otherwise people just hit you because they're just doing them, and you've got to just do you and work with the room that you're given. And like, really, from my understanding, is that you've only got to take 3 steps and show your type of movement. Like, you could just do basics around the floor and the judges would see good movement and know, okay, that's a good dancer. I want to see more of that. What else have you got? So they just chuck you through. And it's at the semi-finals where they're actually comparing, contrasting. Okay, who's doing better here? Who do I want to see more of? And who needs to go back to their school, their studio, and work on that? You know, just keep trying, guys. And that's what they're working with as a judge. And so you've got all your people at the start in the first heat, in the first round, and you know, you're just bumping into each other. And it's the people who have had experience, who can deal with those bits of life better and differently, and adjust within, that are creating for people to compare and contrast and create that sameness.
Right.
So then, like, my coach looks at the other people on the floor and goes, oh, basically, guys, if you had your arms higher, you probably would have won that.
Right.
you had really nice movement together. And then Robin, if you just smiled a little bit more, it's different. If you were a bit lower as you came through and up, it's just a bit down more. Okay, now you need to move more. And it's forever chasing the what's next, forever. And I think this is important, that like when we're training, you're given this thing to follow and to do for weeks on end, is to push, and it's a fundamental, it's a foundation of what you need for your dancing. And you'll have those things in life, those fundamental importances that you find that you make important to your life. And so it's push, and then after 3 weeks you've overtrained it, so it's just gonna be there, but actually that turns into like 6 months and then 6 years of pushing, and then all of a sudden it's not important, but it's still the most important.
Right.
Is the push. Okay, now you need to gather. Cool, so you've got the push, we went to Aussie, then another coach says, okay, why aren't you gathering? Well, what do you mean gathering? New concept. Have to start and implement that into our dancing on the fly when we've got an Aussie Nationals the next day. And yeah, adjusting in that is fundamentally important. Where was this relatable? So we went to Aussie the last time, and there's C grade, B grade, A grade, and we'd focus so much on our C grade and not so much our open grade, where anyone can dance that New Vogue. Focus so much on our C grade New Vogue, and we went and got a lesson from the top coach in Australia the day before, and he goes, oh, I thought I had a good couple to win the C grade New Vogue, but I don't know now. And it was just comparing and contrasting to what he had created and what we had as our foundation. And he changed a couple of things, really little, minute things. And it just showed, it showed how much time we've invested into that area of life. Out of our 3 styles, we've invested so much into that. And then to get the result of that. And Monica said to one of the other coaches, said to Marcus, our coach, why didn't they focus more on the open? Like it just wasn't as clean as the C grade that they had. And he said, well, we didn't come here for that. We came here for the C grade, and now the next thing, bugger B grade, is open. I want to go here and I want to make Aussie finals for open New Vogue finals. And because how you do one thing is how you do everything in a way, just having that clarity in that area, taking that, like the rest of your dancing does get better. And so to be that 15 dance couple, often the top couples, I don't know, sometimes they are just 5 dance couples, but then you get some 15 dance couples that come through, or 10 dance, they're doing all 3 styles, and they apply different things to all areas. Like Latin and ballroom are really similar once you break it down. And it's dealing with those things. And I'm like, I have the same amount of time as everyone in a day and everyone in a week. And there's couples out there doing 5 dances, and that's it, learning 5 dances, and they'll spend 2-3 days on one dance to get it time. And then like I've got to spread myself over literally 20 dances, and it's, yeah, like I'm constantly thinking, don't don't well, don't practice till you get it right. Practice till you can't get it wrong.
Right.
And I'm thinking that, and I'm thinking that, and I'm like, okay, let's move on. We need the next thing now. We need the, you know, you have an adjustment in that area in your head, and that changes, and you've just got to trust that your body will acknowledge it. So you've created this program, and you've got to change a bit of it. And it's when it doesn't change, and when the programs overlap and overmesh, and you start doing a completely different dance, and it's a great challenge. You know, and it all just starts by saying yes.
Yes. And that self-awareness to, because honestly, if you knew what this is the other thing of, you know, all decisions are based on insufficient information concept. The thing is, if I had have really known what some of my yeses would have meant, I probably wouldn't have done them, if that makes sense. How much it would have taken to achieve something. So sometimes saying yes to something we don't know means that we explore and we grow and we get through it, and it's wonderful. Sometimes too much information actually would almost mean no action.
Well, that's the interesting thing. And exactly on that fact is Shawnee said to me, if I could go back, I wouldn't get a dog. And I'm like, that's not quite right in my head, because you can't, I feel, to justify the who would you be if you did this, you just don't fucking know. Because you know you now, and all your experiences and all your situations that have put you into what's developed you as your you now. And that's who you are. And then you choose to make your decisions based on your knowledge that you have or not. And you choose to enjoy that or not.
Yeah, that is a choice.
And the fact of who would you going back to, you know, in my experience, there's no going back to from this lockdown. It's a moving forward into.
Yeah, that's healthy.
Moving forward into your fitness. You know, I've got to move forward into my fitness. I've got to move forward into my weight loss again, because as an old term, I want to go back to the weight I was, but I want to continue with the experience I've had and the knowledge I've got now, and I want to grow into some more great weight loss and control it myself and build the frame that I am envisioning to have.
So you're self-adjusting in your words consistently. That's a high level of self-awareness.
Oh,
it's just beautiful. This is it, right? This is our path.
I'll have a conversation with someone for like 30 seconds, and I know if I want to continue having a conversation with them or not.
Wow.
And you know, now I'll choose whether to have input or not, because of at the level that the person works to. And I'll choose if I and I find I do this all the time, if I want to create an acknowledgement that, you know, there's a different way of speaking. And I've had one friend that I actually had to say, look, I don't actually want to talk to this anymore. You've got to learn yourself. There's no point picking my brain. Go and develop it yourself. And now she's studying NLP.
Right.
Literally grabs a book of NLP. So it'll be amazing where that goes for her.
Mm.
And I have to laugh because I'm sent all this great thinking on the Instagram, like she was tagging me in something, and I'm just like, ugh. And I create myself to remember that I've been through all that. You've not teaching anyone new, and you're not.
There's got to be some level of, and this is a learning, I think, once you're teaching, once you're sharing information, sometimes going back to even teach practitioner, this is honestly how it can be for me. Right? But that must be what it's like when you're teaching us basic social dancing. Does that make sense? So it's that until those foundations are in place, this is the way it says, and I really get, and this touches my heart. Remember my trainer saying to us at the end of trainers, so my master trainer saying to us at the end of, or during trainers, he's like, your real learning will start now, when you get students. And he said, at another point had said, the reason I actually still teach this is because I want people to talk with.
Right.
So some level of teaching people in order to get them to a level to be able to talk with them. Does that make sense? A little bit?
So I've been trying to make sense of this in this way. So you can spend 300 grand on a rundown house and in an average area or whatever, and it needs a bit of a tidy up. And if you're that way inclined to tidy it up, there's no point selling that for 600,000 and buying a brand new house. Because there's nothing that you can add to that house. You want to keep on fixing up.
Having something to do.
Having something to do. And in my mind, I've seen amazing houses when Boxer and I were walking, or I've thought about, all the people who have just got everything and they will be bored out of their mind over that experience in my vision. And how the adjustment for me in that is the acknowledgement that actually, I do want to keep on improving things. It's the way that I'm seeing I'm drawn to. And I had it. And in some ways, to have someone to talk to is, I don't know, I'm assessing all that, so that's quite crazy in my mind.
So in my wildest dreams, now the conversations I'd love to be having have shifted again to actually stretching to the real possibility and the probability within things, and the actual excitement within the fabric of how we create our worlds, and not just the theories and the sciences and having a concept and then exploring that, and where does that work and where doesn't that work, and oh my God, did you feel that? Is it possible to do that together? What happens when I grab this aspect and tweak it, because I feel it happening inside of my body.
The thing that gets me is you started talking about this before lockdown, and we've been on this crazy whack journey, and that's the real shit. real, because you close your eyes and you see your world, and that's real. You know, you close your eyes and you don't have to prove that the chair that's holding me up exists.
No.
You can see so much more. I just feel that's so much more important than everything else.
And these conversations confirm and remind. Because otherwise it just happens all inside of here, and I have no words to articulate, even with Boxer, even though I don't even know where to start. Because it's just like a tweak and they're like, oh my God, that feels so good.
Yeah. And I feel that what you've done just lately of actually just going and sitting and enjoying in that, the magnetization of unity will pull towards that.
Will pull towards that, yeah. Cool confirmation, thank you. I came into the call desiring this, so thank you.
Yeah.
What you just indicated then. Yeah.
And so, like, spinning it right back to creating opportunity, that's where you create it. Because, no matter how far you go to search, it's got to be here first.
Yeah.
Like, it's right there. And
never wasn't.
It never wasn't. And everyone is looking when it's here. And I just enjoy that we are having this amazing conversation, and the rest of the world still goes on.
Yeah.
And there's all these people running around making their life so important to everyone else. When I can sit outside and stare at a street lamp and have the best internal conversation with it. And, it just shines back at me beautifully. And the rest of the world still goes on. I can spend 2 hours in a dance studio, 3 hours in a dance studio, growing and learning, and the rest of the world still goes on.
Mm.
And when you choose to make something else more important, the rest of the world still goes on.
Mm.
Like, we're not needed in other people's lives. And if we can grow in ourselves,
all I hear inside my very being while we're sitting in this energy space is it's the unwavering movement. It's just it's unwavering. It's unable to be wobbled so much. Or
yeah, it's not strongly, but it sits sturdily.
Mm.
Yeah.
There was a twist that I came, an upside down thing that I came to last week. It's like we always look to the physical, to the matter, to the confirmation of the world. We, when I'm saying we, it's sort of including more of us, and take our feed in from that physical, and then try and change things from there because we want something different. But actually, I flipped it up and I went, hang on, that's not entirely true, because we already know that vibration happens first, or light first, then vibration. As we slow the waveforms down, comes into thought, which moves faster than emotion. Then we have emotion, then we have the physical matter. and the physical matter's minuscule compared to everything else. Teach me.
Honestly, it's the what we know of how to make useful of the thoughts that just roll through, and enjoying the being you. And like jump like heaps of levels, but the version of you that is that was the could be, it just fucking isn't, so it doesn't matter. And enjoying, I really appreciate it was you enjoying your warm-up drive in and your wind down drive back to home, into town and back to home. And there's been times where, like, I love my music, but I switch it off.
Yeah.
And it's just the creation and creating. And as a wanting person, always wanting more, always creating the next. Currently, hugest creation is on this cruiser. And knowing that, here we go. And knowing that if I don't do it, no one will. Like, I didn't do it this weekend, so Boxer made a trailer. That just goes to show that if I'm not going to do it, he's not going to jump on with me and just do it. So he makes a trailer. I've wanted to make that trailer. And we prioritise the cruiser first. I want to be fitter, so no one else is going to come knock on my door and say, let's go for a run. So I've got to get up and choose myself that that's what I want. If you want to be more in tune with the energy in the other, make that important, and others will follow. You come in, I come in and you're on the couch and you're just in your space. Like, I've got to wind down my energy.
Right.
And I choose to because you're doing it. You don't walk into someone else's space so much and go, hey, look, let's calm down and think about all the atoms that exist in the world. You create that space and someone goes, oh, wow, look at all the atoms that exist in the world.
That's exciting.
I want to go for a push bike ride. And I conveniently have to, like, where I want to go is out Raglan and my mate's out there. So say, hey, look, I want to do this. When can you do it? And he's like, man, I've been wanting to do this for ages. Let's go.
Yeah.
And it's that enjoyment of self.
Thank you.
Do
you think we might be done today?
Yeah, my leg hurts from sitting.
Yeah, and I'm hungry.
I'm hungry too. Do another coffee though. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
It's great for a knowing of what we know and to continue in that.